Racer.com, Marshall Pruitt, Chip Ganassi Racing announcing that they're going to be dropping down from 5 cars to 3 cars next year full time. And we already know their sports car program is in limbo. There's some rumors that they could be taking a hiatus and potentially come back to IMSA prototype racing in 2026 with a brand new factory back GTP program. So stay tuned on that. And there could potentially be an announcement on that, in the coming weeks ahead. But for today's news, Chip Ganassi Racing confirmed to Racer.com they're going to be dropping down to three full-time cars in the NTT IndyCar Series. Yes, and 2 of those teams are going to go away. And with the additional staff that's left over, it looks like they're planning to enter the Indy NXT Series in 2025, which will be a very welcome thing to see, because right now Andretti Global and HMD Motorsports, that's basically the entire series. And then you have, Able Motorsports and a few other teams, that kind of struggle along here and there. But really the bulk of that series is Andretti and HMD, and now have another powerhouse come into the series, and Chip Ganassi Racing with their plans to expand, on the road to Indy ladder system. Yeah, I'll start off with you, Matt, you, Josh. What's your reaction to this news about Chip Ganassi, downsizing to 3 full-time cars and then plans to go into Indy next?
I can't say I'm massively surprised by this news, because it's going to be a fight for the 8, isn't it? Because they'll keep the 9 and the 10. I guess the 8 car will be the other of the 3 cars, split between Lundqvist, Kevin Simpson, and or whoever else. This is a bit of a trend, I feel like, with Chip. You'll have 5 cars in IndyCar, and you'll have sports cars, and then that will kind of dilute down a little bit. Then it will all come back again a couple of years later, depending on how the land lies. So we're in the Ganassi peak and trough of what they're doing and where they're doing it. But if that rumor is to be true, that they're going to run some cars in Indy next year, which I think I hotted a couple of weeks ago, saying how good Indy Next has turned into after being in the doldrums about 18 months ago, then that'd be great. And some good people there to run some fast cars to help more youngsters come through into IndyCar, which can't be a bad thing, can it?
Absolutely. And I'm literally just talking to Jackson now as well. He's going to put the thing in there as well, but he's said in with highlighting bits of the press release that it's the 8 car currently driven by Linus Lundqvist, the 9, which is Scott Dixon, the 10 of Alex Palou. Now, Dixon and Palou is definitely safe, but it's Kiffin Simpson which the article from Racer.com says could be tipped to go into the seat. I asked Jackson that, and he said if they need the cash, then sure. So it could be that Simpson stays in on a cash deal to go in there for the 8 car, replacing Linus Lundqvist. And Lundqvist, of course, after last Sunday's race, isn't exactly top billing, is he, to go in for another full-time seat? So that's going to be interesting to keep an eye on. But yeah, I find that really interesting. It's not often we get breaking news middle of the show, is it? That's always exciting to stay in. And Jackson's been on the ball there, keeping us up. And Jackson's now saying as well, regardless, it's hard to imagine the 2 outliners not going straight to Prema as well. That's a good point, actually. I'm going to sneeze.
But we think Logan Sargent's going to Prema, so that will leave one of them looking on the outside, maybe.
Did you see Deborah Francesco's tweet in the photo that he was already with Logan Sargent?
Oh, right, okay. Kevin Simpson's got some prototype experience. He was running in ELMS last year, so he could end up in a P2 car in IMSA perhaps next season. So there's an outlet for him there. So plenty of options for plenty of people. Jackson also says, buying and selling charters is fine regardless of engines. Honda and Chevy teams can play ball with each other. Yeah, it's the weighing up of, you've got this, but we've got this. Can we give you that for that? And all swapping around and all the dealings. And of course, the IndyCar postseason is much longer than everywhere else, because we end next weekend, isn't it, at Nashville? Yeah. So there's plenty of time for all this dealing to be done, and we'll bring you all the notes on it on the show between now and Christmas if there is anything to talk about. There's something to talk about from Adam. Could we see Hailie Deegan in Indy next? I'm going to go with a hot no.
Well, I'm not really sure where Hailie Deegan is going to end up, but if you're paying attention to her YouTube channel, she recently tested a Formula 3 car, which was very interesting, and it makes me wonder if she could be heading to F1 Academy or something like that. Maybe it's on the road to Indy. Who really knows? Maybe Hailie is just just testing out different types of cars right now. Cause I've seen Haley driving, several types of cars in multiple disciplines recently. I guess she's just seeing like what's out there, and like what path she can go down, because I think she's in the exploratory phase right now. Like, does she want to stay on the NASCAR path? Does she want to go down open wheel? I thought she did a really good job when she was in IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge for those races with Ford. Thought she really held her own and had very good pace in those cars. So I guess that could be an option as well. There's a lot of places Haley Deegan could go with her racing career. Yeah, but it was interesting seeing her testing that Formula 3 car.